today. A special event is taking place in Miami Gardens today. Councilman Reggie Leon is hosting the Voices of Empowerment event. Special guests include well-known civil rights attorney Ben Crump and activist and author Tamika Mallory. And joining us live this morning to discuss the importance of community events like this one and her new book, Tamika Mallory. Tamika, thanks for joining us this morning.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Before we talk about your book, can you tell us why community discussions like the one you're attending today are more important now than ever?
Absolutely. I think community is what will ultimately be the thing that helps us get through while many of us see very troubling times ahead. I think community has always been what we need in order to come together, to share resources, to learn from one another, and to hold one another, and just to be good to one another. And I think this event today is about that. It is about us being able to talk about the human side of our lives. We all have a common thread of living as humans every day, just trying to survive in society. And again, community is what makes that possible.
You know, yesterday was International Women's Day, and Saturday and today, many marches continue. As a co-founder of the Women's March, what is the message you're hoping marches like these send to President Trump?
Well, certainly the voices of the people will be what saves us. People have to rise up. I haven't been in the Women's March now for some years, but what we sparked in 2017, 2018, and 2019 has now continued across the country, where people understand the power of their voices. And I appreciate so much that you have a diverse group of people who are out there. It is not just relying on Black women, as it generally is, to be the ones that have to go out and mobilize and fight, but instead we're seeing diverse people, diverse communities push back against what they see happening with the federal government. And I think every time we have an opportunity to come together to share information and to decide what are some of the fights that we're going to be able to fight together, that is what makes us most powerful. And so I appreciate that people are out there marching, stay in the streets. We are never, ever, ever supposed to sit by and allow things that we are not comfortable with to happen in our country with our taxpayer dollars, being what is undergirding not only the federal government, but our local elected officials as well.
Now let's talk about your latest book, I Live to Tell the Story. You discuss your childhood trauma, backlash from the community, and your life after rehab. You pretty much bare your soul in that. What was the most difficult part of your story to tell in that book?
I think all of it was very difficult, but you know, one of the biggest passions that I have is to address the issue of gun violence, and to, you know, really reduce the amount of young Black men who lose their lives every year to violence. And my son's father was murdered when my son was just 2 years old. He's now 25, and I have been a single mother raising this young male by myself, and it's not easy. And I'm sure that, you know, your listeners understand the difficulties that are around trying to take care of a child in a society where I want to prevent him from having similar issues. So it was difficult to go back and relive the moment when Jason was killed, and to think about the public health crisis that is gun violence that is often ignored, especially when it comes to people of color in urban communities. So that was pretty tough for me, but it was also tough for me to talk about the challenges of the Women's March and how division, divisiveness got in the way of something that we built that was absolutely beautiful and diverse and really a force. And so there's a lot of places in the book that covers moments that I had some serious challenges, but look at me now. I have more wisdom, and I've been able to navigate through some of life's storms because of community, as we started out with this conversation in the beginning.
Tamika, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate talking to you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Again, the Voices of Empowerment Roundtable is at 1 p.m. at Betty T. Ferguson Complex. To register, head to Eventbrite.